Is your browser workflow a mess? Too many tabs, too many unorganized bookmarks? If your browser experience feels chaotic, you're definitely not alone. The tool that can help you fix this mess is called BrainTool. They're sponsoring today's video, but don't worry, it's free to use with optional upgrades. And if you do want to go beyond the free version, I got a great discount for you in the description, so you can check that out. BrainTool can help you develop a workflow to stay on top of so many open tabs as well as so many messy bookmarks that you might have. And one thing I love about BrainTool is that you can be in control of your own data. It's completely future-proof. It works from a single file that you can combine with other tools, as I'll show you in this video. I'll explain throughout this video, but right now let's just start by installing BrainTool in your browser. By going to the link in the description, you'll find where to install this extension. You're gonna click on Add to Chrome. From there, you can now pin it to have it quickly right there at hand. And if you click on it, it's gonna open right there. Now we can make it bigger. And you're gonna be guided through a quick tutorial that can walk you through. You can skip these things. You can also import your bookmarks, or you can leave that for later and just get started. Before we get into anything, I'm gonna show you that if you go to settings, you can sync to local file. This is better than the alternatives in my opinion, especially because in this video, I'll show you some of the advantages of doing this. So you're just gonna select where you want to save it in your files. So just select the folder that you like, and there you go. You can also check this box to create backups. Okay, here by default, you'll see already some saved bookmarks that come as an example. My recommendation to you is that you delete these things. So I'll start by just deleting the example one. I think it's better for you to create them from scratch. So you can delete this. Okay, move everything to the trash. And if I click in here, that's gonna empty trash. So now we're completely starting from scratch, which is what I would recommend. It just makes things a lot more intuitive. What you can do now is you can go to your browser. Now, let's say that I'm just trying to research where to travel. Here's Athens in Greece. And I say like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to save this. I'm going to write in here Athens and I'm going to save. Back in BrainTool, I can see that these already been saved here. Let's add a couple more. Okay, we got another one in here where we would click the same and it already is recommending Athens. Usually you can just type it and it's gonna auto-suggest whatever matches with your BrainTool, and we're gonna click save. As you can see, that's been correctly added here. Okay, so now we have this post right here and we have BrainTool on the left. Now we already saw the method of adding it by using the BrainTool bookmarker, which is right here. Another method is to actually just click right here and drag and drop. It's been correctly added, and I just removed it to show you probably my favorite method. As you can see right here, this and this belong to this tab group. And if you take a look on BrainTool, it collapses and expands the same way that if I actually rearrange this, change the order, you will see it that it actually happens here as well, which is pretty cool because with BrainTool, you can work with the tabs in this really cool way, right? So that's really awesome. But then what's so cool is that you can actually drag this into the group itself. And now you'll see that it's been added here. What is super cool is that as I open new tabs or I search for new things, I can continue to do this to add new tabs right here to the group. And that makes it super awesome, super handy to organize in BrainTool. Of course, once I'm ready, I can click this to collapse it all. And now with confidence, I can either close them a few one by one, or I can right click close group, knowing that all of this is safely stored in my BrainTool. And what's cool is that if you press this button right here, it's going to open them all again. So behind the scenes, I'm going to add more stuff right now. All right, so I just added a bunch more stuff. As you can see, we have different cities around the world. And what is awesome is that we can just press this button right here and that's going to open that. We can click X and that's going to close Athens. And now we have Rome right here. We can navigate from here as well, which is really cool. We can also just open an individual one from here, maybe two of those. And if we want to reopen all of them, we just click on that. We can close it again from there. We can open this other one, London, and we can close Rome, and we can navigate from these ones. Dubai, let's open that. We can also close things from here. As you can see, like it gets really nice and organized, and you can just have these different groups that you open in a very controlled way that doesn't get overwhelming. Now, if you are actually crazy, we can have like here that we have all top cities. Let me just close them all for a second. And now if we see right here, we actually have open a new window. And what this is going to do is if I click on it, it's going to open 22 tabs. I wouldn't recommend doing this often, but as you can see now everything's open and everything's behind everything else like that. But what's cool is that you can click on these different ones and it will take you to that particular window. You can see here we have London. We have Paris right there. And when you're ready, you can just click in here and that's gonna close them all. And we can go back to a more normal workflow, which is just to open the tabs for London, let's say, and we can navigate from here. Another really cool feature is that you can click in here and here you can actually take notes, like see the Big Ben, right? And I can save that. And those notes are gonna be saved in my BrainTool. If I make this bigger, you'll see that you can drag and drop the notes from here. And here we have C Big Ben, and I have a bunch of notes for different things, and you can continue to add notes as you open the tab. It's really crazy, it's super powerful. You also have the ability of marking things with this star right here. You can mark it as a to-do, or you can, if you click it again, it's gonna be marked as done, right? I'm gonna mark a few of these as to-do. Now what is really cool is that in the search bar, If I type to do, here we have the different arrows to help me navigate through all the things that have been marked as to do. That way, it's just an extra way to help me organize things, being like, I really need to check this one out, I can leave it for later. I can also click this button, and it's gonna show me only the ones that have been marked as to do. So as if that wasn't enough, I'm going to show you the hidden power behind the scenes of how BrainTool works, like how the file that stores all this information works so that it can push things even to the next level. Right now I want to explain a little bit of how the file that organizes BrainTool works and how you can take advantage of it. So first, just take a look at a document like this, right? Usually you would open something like this in Microsoft Word, Google Docs, something like it. Now behind something like this file, what you actually see is a bunch of code that is not meant for us humans to read, to just understand. Is what the actual app uses. Now, when it comes to the file that BrainTool uses, this one is called org mode and is like that. So it's a file that ends in .org. You know how files can end in .pdf? That sort of thing. This one is called .org and the type of file is called org mode. What makes this incredible is that you can take advantage of symbols like this asterisk, which determines a level of a heading. You can see that this heading 2 is indented like this, so it's kind of like an outliner. We're going to explore that in a second, but of course you can add links as well, which is what BrainTool relies on. But BrainTool generates this sort of file behind the scenes. I'm going to show you how that looks. But what I want you to understand is that even though a document like this seems like, okay, yeah, this is very simple, how can I get any more simple than this, is that behind the scenes it actually looks like that. Versus a .org file, it's super lightweight, it's super simple. This is what you get, and this already is extremely powerful, as I'll show you. It's future-proof. This means that if you try to open this file in 50 years, you're not going to depend on something like Google Docs or Microsoft Word to still exist. You can rely on files like this, and the more comfortable you get with these sort of files, the more power you can unlock from your data. It's also helpful to know that AI really likes this sort of simple formats. I'll show you a bit about that later. So the point of this, again, is so that you understand that this is how BrainTool organizes your files behind the scenes. Most other apps would use the sort of cluttered code like this that is hard to back up. It's hard to open in another app if you ever choose to switch apps. Versus in BrainTool, you're not dependent on the app itself, on BrainTool, to be the owner of your data. You own your data and it's in a format that you can back up. Like I say, in 50 years, you'll have no problem opening this sort of file in the future. So with that said, let's explore now how links work in BrainTool and how the actual file looks behind the scenes. Okay, so here in BrainTool, you can see that we have topics and then inside of them, we have different links. It's like having folders within folders to help you reorganize things, and it creates this nice tree structure that you can play with. And of course, you can move things around. You can move these up here. You can change the order of links. You can move things around. Now, the way that I want you to picture this is as follows. Here we just put a simple representation of what's going on. You have these toggles. So again, it's topics within topics. And then inside of it, you simply have links. You can see that what we have is a list of links. So link after link after link, and then organizing these different categories. So that is essentially what BrainTool is doing. The file looks like this. This is a .org file. So just as we create different headings to organize the structure of a file like this, BrainTool does the exact same thing. That way we can expand and collapse different topics inside of other topics, just like so. And as we expand them, we start seeing the different bookmarks. So just like this, just as you see in here, what we're actually seeing is just like that. So for instance, this one right here, Jupiter, the way this is written in BrainTool is just as follows. You have a link, and then you have what you actually want it to be called, the name of the link. So this is what you see in BrainTool, where you have the name of the link, and of course, when you click on it, the actual link opens in your browser. Now you'll notice that here on the side, we have notes. You can rearrange how much you want to see that or not. These notes are also saved in the file. These are simple placed right below the bookmark itself. Jupiter has 95 moons is the one that appears here. And if we click on more tools and the pencil, here you can modify either the title, the note itself, and you can continue to add more notes. In fact, something really handy is that when you open the link and you click on the browser extension, you can see right here that you have the note and you can continue to write on it. 1,000 Hertz could fit inside Jupiter, safe. And going back to BrainTool, you can see that that's been added. And that has been added as a note inside of my file as well. So yeah, having everything in a single file like this is super handy. It looks very nice when you zoom out. But of course, the next question is, where can you open a file like this and where can you make the most of a file like this with all the cool features? Now, if you're a complete nerd and you want to learn Emacs, that's where I'm at right now. You use your shortcuts to navigate. You can get around without even touching the mouse, which is pretty cool. And you have a bunch of really cool shortcuts that can help you, just go through these things super quickly, open different links, and just create really powerful workflows. It's really cool, but it's not for everyone. It is quite complex. I would recommend that you ask ChatGPT about it to see if it's for you. But yeah, it's a pretty cool software. Now, if it does sound a little bit overwhelming because it can be a little bit advanced, By far the best alternative to it is Logseek. This is Logseek right here. It's pretty cool. It makes it a lot more user-friendly. You don't really need to spend that much time learning a complicated app like Emacs. And Logseek already supports this type of file natively, and it's really cool. You have really cool advanced shortcuts where you can move things up and down in really fast ways and just reorganize all of this according to your needs. And anything that you do in here will reflect on BrainTool. See, right now we have universe at the top and then fun facts and philosophy. Just like we said here in Logseek with the universe at the top. Any change that we make in here, being like, instead of the universe, we call it space. All of that will also be reflected in Logseek. As you can see, it's been renamed to space. You can change it back here to the universe. You get the idea. You will see that in BrainTool as well. There you go, just as you expect. And this is one of the advantages I was telling you before, how this sort of data is so nicely organized that things like ChatGPT, like artificial intelligence, would be really good at reading this sort of format. So what I can do is, for instance, I can just copy all of my fan facts. I can just copy it. I can very quickly ask something like ChatGPT to help me process certain information that I want. For instance, let's do this. From these bookmarks, read them and extract 3 of the most interesting facts to share in a YouTube video, create a nice table with nice links and a short summary. And here we paste exactly what BrainTool has provided for us, right? And here you go. There's a nice table with clickable links and the information that I asked for. You can, of course, do the same by copying absolutely everything and giving it to ChatGPT, or you can take it a step further because this file lives in a computer. I actually used AI to code my own personal AI chat with my bookmarks, meaning that this is always connected with my BrainTool files, and I can ask questions without having to even copy paste. If you're curious about how I do these sort of things, you can take a look at the video on the top right where I talk more about this sort of concept of using AI to code. Okay, so this knows everything about my bookmarks, so now I'm gonna ask it to draft a blog on the latest things I've learned using as many links as possible from my bookmarks. Let's go. All right, this is what it produced. I'm not gonna read it to you, but you can see that it actually did a really good job citing as much as it could from my bookmarks, and yeah, it's really impressive. But hopefully you get the idea. That is how it works. You can take advantage of it in so many cool ways. And to be honest with you, I didn't even get to cover all the cool features that BrainTool has, as well as the many shortcuts that you can find in here that just make the whole experience a lot nicer and very satisfying to use. There you go. So hopefully that gives you a better idea of how BrainTool can help you make a better use of your browser, way more practical, way more organized. The free version already allows you to have unlimited bookmarks, unlimited tabs, no limitations there. The paid version does allow you to have some extra features and is extremely affordable. On top of that, I have a great discount for you if you're interested. That is in the description. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.